Okay, so this is a little sketch that's just in a sketchbook of a stream in New Hampshire. I use these little books drawing, and they're kind of like thumbnails, and it's mixed media, uh, just a few colors. Just a black and white of a campfire. Um, Here's a woman standing on a rock. That was done with one of those little pens. It's got a little wash in it. But what I want to talk to you about right now is this will be after you've done your thumbnails, or maybe before. I can't quite figure out the sequence. I just want you to mess around with maybe before you do the big painting, just make an experimental painting. And all I want you to do is just brush some of this stuff around. This is just coffee, and just see what happens when you put some marks into it. You know, be real loose. Don't draw a thing. This is going to be an abstraction. If it turns into something, that's fine. But oh geez, it's starting to look like Trump's head. I can't get away from it. Let me see. So I'm going to take my little sumi brush, this Japanese brush, and I'm just going to, I got a little bit of blue out here too, and it's just liquid watercolor, and I'm just going to put an X through this. Okay, so here's a little bit of white acrylic. What happens when I mix that into it? Okay, I'm going to cancel this completely out. Just see what happens. Now, what I'm doing is I just want you to see how liquid paint can be and ink can be, because we're headed towards doing some watercolors, and let's just see what happens. Use your sticks, go back into it, make some marks. We just want to kind of see how flexible this stuff is, because experimentation is the way to find out what materials do, and just making abstractions, it's a really good thing. Work from your shoulder. Don't get all uptight. You're not rendering anything. You're not doing detail work. You're just being really, really general. And it's like, let's see what happens if I just drop a big block of black into this. This is just black ink. We could do this with acrylic, but okay, so let's see what happens with that. And make some marks. I'll put some white into it. Makes a nice gray. So already we've got like all these different varieties of mark making, and this stuff is close to a lot of illustrative work because they'll work with a limited palette to try to get the information across. So, you know, this easily turns into like some sort of a little demon or something. We'll give him some blue eyes. Blue-eyed demon. He's right here, and you know, here's the fearless leader back here. You know, you've got a rag to clean your brush. I'm going to go back into this with a coffee wash. You know, it's just, things just come up. It's like the same way we were tossing black paper around. Things started to come up, and it's like, oh, so, you know, maybe it's inside a house. We're stuck inside a house, just like this. Maybe there's ground outside here, the demon's outside. And I can cut in around there, I can cut in around it. Just play with this stuff, see what happens. I can go back into it, it could sit, and we could go back into it and draw, you know. Here's the bad stuff outside. And let's just see, I'm just going to put a general wash in there. This is actually like a liquid watercolor. It's not acrylic, but it works good. It's got a stopper in it. So I can get paint down really, really quickly. And I was like, let's see what happens with this stuff. You know, making abstractions is really, really good because it tells you what materials can do. So when you apply it to you know, maybe making something more representational, you understand what the materials could do. And this is totally wet into wet technique. I'm just playing around, so this is going to be like a house, right? Put this here, and it's three-dimensional, just like those boxes that you painted. So here's the house, and the demon is outside walking around. And I want to just drop more blacks into it. So just play around. You don't have to draw any conclusion. Be good if you posted it. I'd like to see how you move paint around along with your thumbnails and your blow up. This is the final part of the assignment this week, just so you begin to understand what paint can do, what paint-like materials can do, which will go into watercolor. We're going to work those watercolors up for a couple, 2-3 weeks, and you know, we're going to see what we can do with it. And really wet and not delicate, that's the way to go. Okay, thank you.